Hello, everyone. Welcome into another episode of the Four Quarters podcast powered by Four Quarters Media. I'm your host, Tyler Bennett, here with you once again. This is part two of episode 11 of the podcast. Was originally scheduled to drop Monday, July 6th. Due to things opening up, our guests being able to partake in team workouts in Alberta, we pushed it back and you get it on a Wednesday instead. Thrilled to have St. Mary's forwards Jordan Britton and Alex Cliche on the show, two hosts of the Double Double podcast as well, which I strongly encourage you check out if you're an NBA fan. Hilarious. And they know what they're talking about. And four guys just having a conversation on basketball, a ton of fun. And in this chat was no different. The two of them let their personality shine. And we looked at the NBA restart, got their thoughts on how that may go and some ideas that have popped up about the other 8 teams. So we had a good discussion on that and a good discussion on how this year is so unique that could we see this type of format in the future. We also got off the rails a bit with some conversations on The Rock and LeBron James and Space Jam. That's fine. It is what it is. And then we also looked at the Double Double podcast, what they've got going on with that, the idea behind the podcast as well, and learned what goes into it on their side of things, which is always interesting for me to hear what others do on their podcast or put into their podcast. Always trying to learn new things. And then we cap it off with a discussion around the St. Mary's Lightning. Heartbreaking finish to the 2019-2020 season. But they learned from it. They took it and made them hungrier for this season. And like Alex says when we got onto the team, the longer break, having to wait till January, just fuels that hunger even more. And we looked at what their goals are for the year, both as a team and as an individual. And Jordan capped it off with basically summing up their goals for the year, and that being a championship. But with that in mind, let's jump right in to part 2 of episode 11 of the Four Quarters podcast powered by Four Quarters Media with St. Mary's Lightning forwards Jordan Britton and Alex Cliche. Enjoy. All right, so I'm now thrilled to be joined by 2 members of the St. Mary's Lightning, Jordan Britton and Alex Cliche. Gentlemen, how are things on your end? I know you guys just finished up a team workout and some pickup basketball, so fresh off it. How are things out there?
Yeah, I'm sore, man. It was a first team workout that we had just got clearance for this week. So as soon as we got clearance, coach was super excited to get us back out on the field and do some conditioning and see where we're at. And I was definitely surprised at where.
I think there's gonna be a lot of people that are surprised at where they are when they get back to it.
Yeah, like sitting on the couch there's not much exercise in that, man. And I found that out today. It was good though. It was fun, and I hope to get more in because like you said, we were doing some pickup basketball too, and like it's just different when you're in runs and you're playing. Like you don't feel the cardio, you don't feel it at all. You're in the game, but in the workout, it's just you and the workout.
It's tough. Like the walks from the fridge to the couch are not anywhere near the cardio that they should be. How are things out west?
He went today on Tuesday.
Okay.
And I just came back from Nelson, and I basically just said, okay, vacation mode. Mm-hmm. So didn't really watch what I was eating, didn't watch what I was drinking.
Right.
I did not keep track of the amount of sleep I was getting, and now I'm going on Thursday. So it's probably going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you guys do it in 2 groups then?
It's just to accommodate work schedules and stuff. So there's like you can go to both and you can go to all the sessions, but if you have work or you have something and that you can't make it, then you have options. But yeah, I think coach always is going to be having a garbage bin handy when Alex is anywhere near a conditioning workout because that's kind of his thing.
At least at the start of the season.
Well, at least now too, like going second, you kind of know what to expect. You kind of makes it a bit easier than going first. Like heaven forbid you had to go today.
Oh, it would have been far worse if I had to go today.
That would have been.
I've got a day to kind of go back to the gym and start exercising to some extent.
And you can kind of hear what you have to do, and then you're like, okay, well, this isn't going to be fun. At least you kind of mentally prepare yourself.
Yeah, you have prep time for sure.
That helps.
Yeah.
How are things out west? I know you guys are a bit further ahead than we are in Ontario, to say the very least.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
How are things out there?
It's good. It seems to especially like in the West in general, especially in Alberta. Calgary was one of the hot zones for COVID, so things were really tense and really shut down, really slowed down. But it seems like things are getting to a point where things can open back up, like having this training and all the dry land stuff that we've had approved to get that going. I think speaks to how much better it's going.
Right.
Because like it has slowed down the infection rate like significantly to get us to that point. So I'm happy with it. It's going. Like it does kind of suck that like the foregone conclusion of already canceling a fall semester, but I think that the positives is that like with things going the way they're going now, at least we have something. Like we got something to be training for. We have something to be doing and playing pickup and stuff like that, which we weren't able to have for the last 3 months. So it kind of feels like we're finally like getting a taste again.
Yeah, and it was on Monday. That was the first time that most of the Calgary gyms opened, but there were on a 1 hour window that you have to book by appointment. Then they close for a half an hour, clean the place really well. The next hour comes in. So it's kind of over and over, but a lot of the workouts I could get done in an hour, but that's generally if I'm moving at a steady pace rather than taking a water break here or there. So it's going to be a matter of trying to fit as much as you can into the 1 hour that you have.
Now, does that 1 hour, does that factor in like getting changed and showering, or is it just
there's no showers? You're expected.
Right, that makes sense. That was stupid.
To come changed with a water bottle. It's basically like you line up outside before they let you in. Key card, and then everybody just goes, works out, and then they kick everybody out.
Damn. Yeah. If you can't get a workout in an hour, that's tough. Like there's guys that spend well more than an hour at a gym.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The Rock is fuming.
Oh, he's pissed.
He has his own gym.
I would hope so. I hope he would have he probably has at least 2.
Oh no,
3.
he's got the facilities. But if he was put on an hour time crunch, that guy,
could you imagine?
He'd be raging. He spends like 4.5 hours in the gym a day.
Like,
I don't know if there's any truth to it or not, but I'm pretty sure he has like a full caliber traveling gym.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah,
I've heard that as well. Just take it to movies and
most celebrities have entourages. He just has a traveling gym following him around like groupies.
Like a full like semi 18-wheel gym.
Yeah. His groupies are barbells.
I haven't frequented a gym in a while, but I can imagine like that. That's weird. That's I just flat out. I don't know how you can get yourself to work out in an hour. I don't think I'd be able to do it.
Oh yeah, you'd have to make some adjustments too. Like it's funny. Like I don't know if you guys heard, but that Space Jam 2. They said that one of the conditions that LeBron had in his contract to film it was that they had to have a facility for him to be training on in between sets.
Didn't they put it in like a dome? They put like a full court and a gym in like one of those golf domes.
Yeah,
so you can step off, like go off set and just play and work out, and then just go right back to it like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, it's LeBron, so you know that facility is probably immaculate, probably like state of the art.
Right. And
I got to get his shots up.
I just Googled it. The Rock has 40,000 pounds of workout equipment on the road.
Wow.
and
40,000.
40,000 pounds. And I'm trying to see if there's a picture of it that I can pull up. That is insane.
That's nuts.
No human really needs that.
No.
But like, no human needs a lot of what that guy does, because I don't know if you saw that video where there's a YouTuber and he followed The Rock's diet for a week.
Okay.
And The Rock eats like 6 meals a day. And
Yeah.
this guy started at 6 a.m. and by 11 a.m. he was puking because he couldn't eat all the food that The Rock was eating. So
That's
he's a different breed.
that. Yeah, that sums it up. That's disgusting.
Big weights, big calories, big boy. I
He's
guess that's the
massive.
formula.
Eat big, look big, feel big.
Yeah.
Like he's massive. Like just
Yeah.
solid too. Like
Oh.
no fat. It's
No.
gross.
Yeah.
How excited are you guys for the NBA to come back?
I
If at
think
all.
it's just it's like any sport at all, really. Like just give me anything. But
Right.
we like have discussed this a little bit. The new format of it makes it so much more intriguing
Mm-hmm.
because it creates an immediate competitive like format for them to play
Right.
from. So I'm getting very excited. I got a notification today from Bleacher Report. They've already started doing, I think it was like NBA on TNT.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's with like Ernie or
Yeah.
Players Only. And so it's getting close, and it's definitely exciting that there's going to be live sports again.
Yeah. And like with all the negativity that this pandemic has brought, like having something like the NBA to go back to is one thing, but also like I'm kind of excited to see this new format. I'm kind of like it's going to be a type of finish to a season that we've never seen before.
Right.
Probably will never see ever again.
No.
So I think it's going to be interesting, and I like the divide that's like going on. You have players with varying opinions on. Some are saying the season doesn't count, this championship doesn't count, and some are saying that this championship means more than any other because of all the stuff that's going on off the court.
Right.
When you don't even, like, if you look beyond COVID, where you have like the Black Lives Matter and like all the stuff that's going on in the world right now, like there's a lot going on. And I think that this championship, like, I think it is going to be different, and how people look at it when it's all said and done is like, we'll see what happens. But like either way, I'm excited for it to get fired up again, and I'm like, I think it should be pretty interesting.
It's going to be unique, I think. And like you said, it's one-off thing. It's format's never going to probably happen again.
Yeah.
And I think that just makes it that much more exciting.
But an interesting thought is that what if this format is so successful that you can't ignore it?
Wow. You just go and throw that out there.
Like, did you say that they do this again, or where are you going?
So right, like there's been ideas thrown around for making the number one pick for the bottom dwellers to be a tournament style, so that it actually is better to be better and miss playoffs because you have a better chance of winning the tournament to then get the number one pick. So because we have a situation where we would have never ever probably tested a playoff to get into playoffs, you could set it up for the 7, 8, 9, 10 seed to have a play-in style single elimination or maybe a double elimination to solidify the 7 and 8 seeds.
Like, I'm interested about that because, like, on paper, when you look at organization to organization for the ones that are missing playoffs and are lottery bound, how motivated are those guys that are on the team going to be to win a tournament, to pick a draft pick that is coming for your job? Like, I get that everyone's competitive and I get that everybody wants to win, but at the same time, I think a lot of people forget that these guys are humans. They have, like, they're trying to take care of their own as well. And like, I think that could be interesting too, because there could be some teams that they just want to win, and that's what shows on the court. But I think that there's some teams that I could see, who cares, that in their eyes, like, well, who cares if we win this? Like, if we win this tournament, I might not have a job next season. So like it is interesting. Like I don't know how much I really have, like I don't know how much conviction I have in it, but like you said, it's something new, it's something different. We'll just see how it pans out, I guess.
That the idea of having the 8 teams fight for that top pick, I think if you're that 30th team and you have to play a tournament to get a pick that you have the best odds to in a lottery, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
But it also makes tanking a little bit easier because you have to tank to be 23rd. Yeah. Not as obvious as tanking to be 30th, and then you just roll the other 7 teams, and all of a sudden you just miss the playoffs, but then you have a better chance of the first overall pick. And it's the same in the NHL with the wild card, the filler teams. Basically, one of the teams that loses in the first round is going to get the first overall pick. So you make playoffs, and you can still get the first overall pick. I don't like that from the NHL standpoint, but I don't know.
Like, I think that just makes the Golden State Warriors even more of a lock for the number 1 pick. Because if you got Steph and Clay going back there, and technically they do have the best odds should there be a lottery anyway. But if you make a play-in tournament, and I think that's also interesting too, because I could see Curry and Clay and Dre trying to get that pick because they're trying to keep the dynasty going. They know that their jobs are safe. They know that they have something to go back to. And in their eyes, they're just filling their pockets with, like, hopefully a stud coming out of college to help carry the franchise forward. Yeah, that would be insane if the Warriors did luck out and grab one of the best prospects in the country. Like,
I just roll my eyes at that idea.
Yeah, just nuts.
I don't know. Like, not a Golden State fan to take it then?
No, not here.
No, that's fair.
We never jumped on that bandwagon.
Teams of choice then take it. I'm guessing Raptors, but you can go off the board.
Can't say much better than the Warriors, and I guess I scoff when I say no. I'm not a Warriors fan, but because I'm a Lakers fan, and that's a pretty common team to pick. But I got swept away by the Lakers Palooza as a kid, and when you're a kid, you like to cheer for winners, and they were good. And once I don't know, I just been a Lakers fan, and we just rode some pretty crappy years. So it's good to be back watching some good competitive LA ball again.
You guys had your highs for a while.
Yeah.
So you got to take your bumps. It's only fitting.
Yeah. And it's funny, like I've been to 4 Lakers games.
Okay.
And those 4 games were all the underperforming 27 or so winning Lakers teams. I have not been to a Lakers win.
That's enough evidence to show that you're an actual Lakers fan.
Right.
Whereas a Warriors fan is just kind of like they get caught up in the hype of the team, which is my thought. I can't really say I'm a lot better either, but my story is like I started watching basketball basically when LeBron was drafted.
Right.
Obviously, like a Toronto Raptors fan because they're the only Canadian team.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched LeBron through basically his entire career, so I'm a LeBron fan.
I was going to say, because I remember listening to the first ever podcast you guys did, and your favorite player was LeBron, and Jordan's was Kobe.
Yeah.
Those obviously still ring true. They haven't changed, haven't wavered.
Yeah. Like we got a Kobe painting in the living room, still hanging up. I'll always keep that up. Purple and gold. Kobe was one of the ones who kind of sold it to me. And it's funny, like I had a really strict teacher in grade 6 and grade 5, and he was so tough. And he was always preaching. He's saying like, I can't stand that Kobe Bryant guy. I can't stand him. He's always so arrogant and so full of himself. And I remember being 10 or 11 years old and just being like, man, there's something about it that I just love watching that guy.
It's like I was never, like you said, you always cheered for the winners. Like always, my teams are probably the most random you could pick. Like I'm Ontario kid through and through. Cheer for Texas in baseball because I told them when I was 4, I was like, "What's that?"
No Blue Jays for you.
I hate the Blue Jays. Hate them. Can't stand it. the Odor punch on Batista was the best moment of my life by far.
So you're a Houston Astros fan.
100%. Yes.
So
Can't stand them either. I can't stand Houston either.
okay, like it's a basketball podcast, so let's not get too dived into to baseball. But what are your thoughts on the idea that there is Vegas gambling bets for the first Houston Astro to be hit by a pitch?
I think it's fantastic. I love it. It's whoever's gonna be first up in their first game is the first one to get hit. 100%.
Put the rookie out.
Yeah.
They're gonna put the guy who's never gonna play again just up just to take it once. And
they'll sign a guy off the waivers just for that game.
And I think Altuve will get hit his first at bat too.
Yeah, that's fair.
And after that, they'll get it out of their system, and I just hope they never win again. But
well, because the season changed as well for them, and it's looking to be a 60-game season.
right.
They were also betting on the number of times a Houston Astros player would be hit. So, like, before they were saying 1 a game was their average, that a player would be hit by a baseball once every game.
I'd say that's fitting.
Yeah, if there's any listeners that are listening, the Houston Astros got caught in a massive cheating scandal where I believe they were sending signals based off of pitchers' calls.
They were catching the pitchers' signals, so they were able to know when a fastball was coming. Hence why Jose Altuve was able to get so many home runs.
Yeah, for a little guy like him. And yeah, like I don't know. I think they'll get hit once a game, whether they're intentional. I'd say maybe 50-50. But the first batter and first Altuve at bat, 100%. Intentional, right in the ribs, and just eat it and take it and go because you know what you did. You messed up.
It's so. I think it's interesting though because like what other like aside from football, like I don't see another sport where you could make such a difference by doing something like that. Like in basketball, I'm struggling to think of something that you could do that would give you the same kind of leverage and advantage that you would get from doing that in baseball or from getting the other coach's play call in football. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
the only other sport I can think of is tennis. The only thing you can do is tennis. That's the only thing I can think of, even remotely close. But no team sport can you do anything to help yourself or
deflated footballs apparently are.
Oh yeah, Tom Brady, he can go kick rocks with Houston too.
Or they can film the Bengals, and which is so bizarre because it's not like
teams
needed help.
The Bengals were so bad.
They were terrible. And why would you film them and then get caught filming the worst team in the league?
I don't get that at all.
Belichick can go kick rocks too, for all I care. Looking at the Double Double podcast for you guys, how did that come about?
It is something that we had talked about so loosely for a few years. I know Brock and myself had said a few times that we'd love to just sit down and kind of talk basketball and see what happened. And honestly, we just never put pen to paper or any action behind it. And we have a friend who's the host, Josh Gruen, and he said that we should get together and do a podcast, that we had something there. And we all kind of just actually did something about it. And then, that honestly is a kind of a fun project because we just have so much fun, the four of us, talking about basketball and just kind of being goofballs.
Yeah.
And if we have listens, that's great. And that was something that's been nice too, is that we have noticed a lot of growth in the listens. So if it's something that we can have fun doing, something that we'd be doing anyway, whether we were recording or not, is just talking ball and having fun. So now that there's some traction behind it, that's great.
Yeah, I think basically the idea of it was that when the four of us were together, we were generally talking about basketball. And then Josh, who's the host, he just had a child with his wife, and so his time availability is becoming more and more slim.
Right.
So it kind of forces us to find times to get together, and then we're able to have kind of the camaraderie before and after the podcast, and we can have a beer or two and just kind of catch up and see how our lives have been doing. And then it kind of just has like taken off a little, and it's nothing crazy, but it's mostly we're just having fun with it, and if it becomes something, then cool.
Yeah. And so I think the big thing is it's authentic, and like you said, you guys are just four guys talking basketball. You would have done it anyways, whether or not there's microphones there or not, and they're hilarious. They're fun. I'm not gonna lie.
I appreciate that.
Like I said off the top, I had to listen to a few just to make sure I got Alex's name right, just to hear him say it a few times. And you get listening, and all of a sudden you're 5 or 6 deep, and you're like, okay.
Yeah,
and
I think it's just interesting how that kind of the listeners and the growth just kind of just grows. But because we were on SoundCloud, and you can see where people are listening to. And we have listeners in the US in like random places, and then we had some listens in Europe, and it's just funny. Like I don't know how these people stumble upon it.
Right.
I'm sorry if you do, but but it's just it's something nice. And once we see a listener pop up in a random place, I think we had one from Virginia, and we noticed then that they tune in every week or every episode. They're always tuning in, and you can kind of see who's become like committed to checking out the new content. And I think that's pretty nice.
And I think where we've seen some of the success is now that we have reached, I think we're at 40 episodes, maybe 41.
41 or 42, I think I listened to today.
So, which is weird that the people that created it don't even know what episode we're on.
I forget half the time too.
But I think a part of it now is, I remember before you kind of had to search for us, and now I think the algorithm has changed a little bit. So if you look for us on Apple Podcasts, we come up as the first thing.
Yep.
And we have a good, I guess, like episode count now. So if someone listens to one of the newer ones, which is generally probably better than the earlier ones, and they like it, then they have a bunch of different things that they can also listen to. So I think we see that as someone finds it, and then they're able to listen to a bunch within a time frame.
You got a catalog of stuff to check out.
Yeah, there's 42 right now. Like I haven't listened to the new one yet. Apparently, it still says download. I think I went kind of 1 through to 42. I think that's the big thing, is just like you said, like being consistent, just posting it like when you guys find time, and then as people find it, like I don't know how people find podcasts anymore or how they come across random things and whatnot, but once you get them hooked on 1 or 2 and you have that long resume or catalog of episodes, they just find themselves listening to 3, 4, 5, and all of a sudden they're subscribed or ratings or whatever, and they pass it on to someone else, and podcast could go anywhere. So the reach is endless. Yeah.
And platforms too, like Alex has put some time into figuring out how to stream us live on Twitch when we record a podcast. So there's different avenues. Like that's something that maybe even Four Quarters Media could be doing, because like any way to grow an audience, it's not easy, but like it can be done, and you just got to be willing to do what it takes to get it out there.
Yeah, it's a challenge. Once you get it started and you get that consistency, it's a lot easier. But it's getting the ball rolling first. That's the biggest. That's the biggest
thing.
Hurdle to overcome.
And yeah, Twitch has proven to be a little tough, right? The software that they have available for Mac is not as good of an operating system.
Okay.
And so I found one that I had working on my previous Mac, and then I upgraded it. Didn't work. Got a new Mac. Now I'm following the new tutorials that are like word for word, and it's not working for some reason. So I need to go and find a different. They just released a new version that works for Mac, so I'm going to try that out and see if I have success. But it's been very frustrating.
I feel that, and you didn't hype it up that well, to be honest with you. So I don't know if Twitch is for
Well,
me.
we also have a friend who played on the basketball team last year, and he's a professional streamer. So he goes on Twitch daily. I think he's averaging around 30 views, and he's kind of the one who convinced me or us to look into it a little bit further. But it's just, you got to get over the hump, and then as soon as you get it started, it's apparently super easy.
It's that first hurdle again. It's that dangerous first hurdle. Is there an end goal for the podcast, or is it just kind of see what happens, and if it grows, it grows? And is there an end vision for it?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I don't think so. Like I think we just got to keep it down to the core values of us doing it and having fun and enjoying it, enjoying the process of it all. And I think that's the best route. If something happens from it, great. Like, I think it's when you start to do it and the sole purpose of blowing up. I don't know, maybe I'm looking at it all wrong, but like, I think we're doing it for the right reasons.
100%.
And like, that's the best way to go about it. And that's the best way for us to keep wanting to do it too, is because if you get behind it where it's like you're forced to do it, then I don't know, maybe the content starts to suffer. Maybe you stop enjoying it. Like, I don't know.
I've discussed this with a friend of mine who is an avid cooker, and it's the idea that, we've all been taught to do what you love and make it your job.
Right.
Is not always the best case. Sometimes it's better to keep a hobby a hobby. And so I think if we were able to see this progress in a way, and we were all in a place where we could or choose to make it something, then I think that would be just something to discuss at a later time. But as it is right now, I think we're all fairly happy with where it is. And if it takes off a little bit more, but it's still the same kind of time frame of commitment, then I think we'd still be happy with that. But we're all very busy. Two of us are in school. One of them travels generally up north for work.
Okay.
Right. The other has a wife and a child. So his time is very valuable.
Yeah. There's a lot of other things going on. And once you lose that kind of that love and the passion, and it starts to feel like work, and it, like you said, the content takes a hit, and you kind of lose that desire to do it. And
I had something similar before where I was doing, I was writing a music blog.
Okay.
And I basically still, the way that I listen to music is very structured, and I do it in the same way, but it became too much of a thorn in my side, where it was just like too constant, too time consuming, and it just was no longer fun. So I quit doing it. Right. So
you want to have fun with it at the same time. And for you guys, especially with 4 guys, you guys are going to have those conversations anyways. If you start losing the fun of the conversation and the podcast, and that also hinders just the regular camaraderie, because then you guys are more focused on things that don't really pertain to the podcast. And
I think that's when it dies. Like, that's when you stop doing it. So
it's just, as long as you have fun with it, if it grows, it grows. It's the same thing with me. If it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, I'll still have fun doing it. It doesn't really bother me much.
It's still a really cool hobby for you to have, right? And I appreciate the idea of it a lot, because I feel like college sports could use some more exposure. So I think it's I'm very appreciative of what you're doing.
Oh yeah, I think it's great. Like I think that the Four Quarters Media Instagram story is the only story that I check every time I see it. I don't even like going on a whole lot, or much less checking stories, but I think it's interesting. It's our landscape as athletes and as student athletes, and to have something that's directly covering all of that across the whole country, I think is great.
Well, I appreciate that. I didn't force you to say that. Just want to make that clear now. So thank you for that.
Do we still get paid?
Yes, we'll sort that out afterwards. Yes, we'll figure that out off the record.
Also, did you want to see some magic? This is a random stranger I've just met on the side of the road. I've never met him before. I'm going to show him some magic.
Oh my.
Feel free to cut that.
That is 100% staying in. If I do have a preview, I might just clip that and just play that on its own. You might see that. That'll be on Instagram probably on Wednesday on its own. Just that.
We got at least one of those clips with Alex on the Double Double podcast each episode that we kind of just sit there and listen and
So
wonder where it came from.
It comes back from like a Mad TV episode back in the day, and they did a Chris Angel like scene,
right?
Where it was just Chris Angel, and he just went, "Here's 5 totally random people that I've definitely never met."
I never believed that on the Chris Angel stuff either. That was weird.
I heard he wasn't very good. Like his Vegas show was not very good.
It's basketball, but I'm going to go off this anyways. Like, I've been to Vegas. My parents got married there, so we were there every year since I was 10. And like I'd wandered the street from when I was 12 on my own, just because they gambled and sat by the pool, and I just can't sit still. Walking by the Chris Angel stuff, it was in the Luxor, I think. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And nobody ever left the show looking like they had their mind just blown. Like it looked like they were depressed that they spent money to watch.
And that's saying something. If you were, as a 12-year-old, you're seeing something like that and your mind's not blown, or you see people that are not into it. Like I think as a kid, I remember even seeing it on TV, and if I flipped the channel and landed on Chris Angel and I saw him do something wild, that my mind would be blown. But
the first couple of times it was like, okay, this is sick, this is cool. And then you start watching it a few more times, you're like, oh, okay, well, looks like you planted those people in the crowd. And then you see the people walk out of Vegas and you're like, why? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
You spent all this money to go to a show and you look like, some people look like their cat just died. Like, what happened? But
with Chris Angel, and maybe they did and probably got brought back.
Probably. And it wasn't their cat. Probably brought back the wrong cat. But we'll link your SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts in this. People can check you guys out and listen to what you guys got going on. Because again, they're a ton of fun. Like, I love it. Like, I'm not a big NBA guy, and like they're a ton of fun. So
yeah.
And
yeah, thank you.
Do I still get paid for that too?
A callback to the okay.
Well, you want me to make the exact same joke again?
Please, Alex, no. Please.
I was hoping you had a second one right on cue. If you had a second one ready to go, that would have been the best.
A little delayed, but Schrodinger's cat.
Okay, so you did get a second one, right?
There we go. Hey, got a call back too, and hey, I'll take it. Looking at last year for you guys, we'll get on St. Mary's a bit before we close her up for the night. Just got to get your thoughts on the season. You guys were tied with Red Deer, essentially, but just missed out on the playoffs in the tiebreaker. Just kind of get your thoughts on the year as a whole.
An emotional end, to say the least. Like,
right.
I don't think you could script it any better that the team that you're fighting to get into the championships is the team that you play your last 2 games. So we're pitted head to head with them. Both of us know what we got to do to get in, and that's win. And the first game, it was a unreal game. The energy in the gym, close game, nail biter. They ended up winning on a last-second shot, and hell of a shot from well beyond the 3-point line, and it kind of clinched it for them. So the year as a whole, I still think that it was a good step in the right direction. Like, we were obviously disappointed because we wanted to be heading to the ACAC championships, and we didn't get there. But the steps that we took from last year were leaps and bounds. And that's motivating heading into an off season where now we have momentum and we have something to carry forward into the next season. And we know that if we make the same leaps that we made this last season, it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. So tough end, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And we'd all be lying if we said that wasn't motivating for us
Right.
heading into the off season. So
Right.
Yeah, I think it left us very hungry to get back to the season. So now us waiting even a little longer is going to make us even more hungry for exactly the same reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like a very progressive season for us in terms of the team mentality, as well as the atmosphere and the chemistry that we had with a lot of the players on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And we really didn't lose a lot. We added a couple nice touches, and we're feeling very, very, very good vibes for the upcoming season. It was tough because it wasn't even the Red Deer game like back to last year. That was one of the ones.
Mm-hmm.
We had we lost 2 games to Red Deer on buzzer beaters, and we lost 1 to Sate on a buzzer beater.
Right, remember that.
And then the other thing too was Ambrose went to the ACAC championship final,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had beat them in season 3 times.
Swept them.
Yeah. So there's just like, those are like 3 or 6 instances where it's like, ugh.
And that's the thing. The ACAC, it's so competitive. Like you look,
tough.
It's from north and south. Like, and maybe I'm a bit biased because we're in the South. I don't know, but just like the South, like it's such a deep conference. Like that you have so many good teams where every single game that you get into is going to be a fight, and like there's not going to be any nights off in the ACAC, and like it speaks volumes. Like it's good though. I don't think I'd want it a different way. I would rather play in a deep, talented conference rather than maybe a lesser so.
That South Division is so tough. It is night in, like you said, night in, night out. It's a grind.
Mm-hmm.
And any team, top to bottom, can bring it any night, and just if you don't have your best, they'll take it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy physical.
That too. Like I was at Sate for 1 year, and that, like, it's physical every night. That's the best way to put it. Like if there's some big bodies out there.
Oh yeah, that's Southern Alberta basketball. That's what it's known for. It hangs its hat on the physicality.
It's a lot different than Ontario. We're much more finesse.
Yeah.
And we don't like the physicality, if you will. A lot of our bigs shoot more than they do play inside.
Yeah.
It's just the paint's kind of empty.
Can't stand a big who just shoots.
Well, don't come out here then. We got a ton of those. That's all you see. Like you could just stand in the paint and put your arms out and swing and not touch anybody some days.
Yeah.
Like it's like they're allergic to the paint.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Rebounds too.
That too. You see bigs that average like 19 points and shoot 40% from 3 and have like 3 rebounds out here. It makes no sense.
That's a little strange.
It is, and we'll have guards.
It's the new Brooke Lopez.
Yeah. Well, okay. They need to switch something up then. And
lots of threes. Like Brooke Lopez used to be pretty good in the paint, great mid-range, and then he wasn't a great rebounder, but he was getting close to double digits every night. And now he'll hit probably 3 3-pointers a game and get 3 rebounds.
Yeah. When your threes match your rebounds as a forward, something different.
I'll tell you right now, my threes are always usually always higher than my rebounds.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I'm a stretch 4.
That's fair. Most of our guards out rebound forwards.
Yeah.
We've got a couple guys on our team that are guards that rebound really, really hard, and that's something that I like because I focus a lot on boxing out so that it's easy for the guards to come in and get rebounds. So I'm just like, if you come in and you fight for it, like they're going to be there for you most of the time.
Yep. Just make sure you're there. And if you're not, then, well, someone else will get it.
Just not Jordan.
No. He's okay. He's already going up to 4. What are some of your goals, whether individually or as a team, for next year? And you're getting quite a look. And that was one of the ones that came in off Instagram. So that's not off me. So you can blame someone else for that.
Record.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. Okay.
We don't have to talk about it.
We're talking about it now. We're talking about it now. Whatever it is, we're talking about it now.
Well, I am on pace to break the ACAC 3-point all-time record.
Okay.
So I'd like to have my sights set on that, but obviously that goal falls secondary to every team goal. Our team goal was last year, will be the same this year, as championship.
Right.
We want the championship. That's if you're not setting your sights on that as a team, I think you're doing it wrong. But yeah, if the team wants me to shoot, I'll shoot. And if the record comes, like it just, I think I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. And that's what I think is the best part about it. It's not like I have to go and step outside myself to go and try and hunt that down. I just have to basically keep doing what I've been doing for the past 4 years of my career and let the chips fall where they may.
It's not forced by any means.
Yeah.
It's just,
Exactly.
like you said, how you've done it for 4 years. And I guess I should rephrase myself out here. A lot of our 5s shoot 3s.
Oh yeah. Don't get me started on those 5s.
Terrible.
Much better than the 4 shooting.
Yes. A lot of our 5s shoot. Our 4s just kind of do whatever they want out here. They don't rebound a lot either, but we have way too many 5s that shoot 3. So let me correct myself. I don't want to offend you. Alex, what about you? What are some of your either individual goals, team goals? What is ahead this year?
I would say that my individual goals are pretty clearly communicated throughout the team and with the coaching staff, and that is always that I come second in terms of the team. So I will always assume whatever role is expected of me, and I won't complain about it. So that's my individual perspective is I'm going to do anything that I can to make myself a better basketball player and my teammates and our team more successful, which is one of the team goals in itself, is the team culture that we're trying to build, is that there is no one person on this team that is better than all of us.
Right.
So it's very much about the one more pass, then shot. It's not about, get the ball, drive it. We try to pass the ball rather than dribble it up the floor. It's just a lot of we believe that the more times, the more hands that the ball touches, the more kind of power it gets.
Right.
So that's definitely a big team goal for us, is including everyone and making everyone feel like they are a part of the success.
I was kind of hoping you said cardio as your own goal. I was hoping for that.
It is, but it's never been a huge concern once we get the ball rolling.
Right. It's just
and so what was it? Last year training camp, I was much better prepared. Although Jordan gave me some guff for one of the specific days. But the year before training camp was very, very difficult for me. And this last year, there was just one day where instead of pushing myself hard the entire time, I paced myself through the workout.
Okay.
So it at times looked like I was not giving it 100%, which is true because I knew I would not make it.
And I'm on this guy's case about it, and he's saying he's so glad that he's more prepared this last season, and that's great. But I mean, he's still dogging it at the back. It's come on, man.
I explained to him that I was the last person for a little while But then when it came to the jogging portion of it, I was like 5th. Which generally I would be last at the jogging one, but because I was, I conserved my energy a little bit, I was able to perform better long term, I thought.
Gotta play to your strengths. You got to know where you want to succeed and where you want to be 5th in jogging. I mean, that's okay. Like, I'd be last in both.
When were you 5th?
On the jog home.
You really?
I was 5th. You remember being like, "There we go, Alex."
Okay, yeah.
But also, a teammate of ours pushed himself very, very hard and then got a really bad cramp, and he got to hop in the back of the van and miss the rest. So I think this year I'm still not going to try for that because cramps are awful.
Yeah, no, they're no fun. I have a feeling that Jordan has a few other ideas that you might get pushed a lot harder than.
This guy always has ways of pacing himself. That's what it's about. He's always got something to pace for, conserve for.
It was a 2-hour, very difficult workout, and so I just knew I wouldn't finish it if I didn't play it strategically.
It's better than going too hard, more than like outside your means and injuring yourself. That's for sure.
Right. See, you gotta jog smart, or just.
See, now that's why we're good partners.
See the good and the bad. See both sides of it. He'll push you hard enough that you may hurl in a bucket, but you're not gonna hurt yourself. So
exactly.
Best of both worlds. One that came in from Instagram. I don't really know how to phrase it. I don't really know how this is going to go, so we're just going to go with it anyways.
Yeah, just go for it.
I like it already.
What's the most important thing when it comes to teamwork?
Okay. Most important thing when it comes
I don't know what they mean by what thing. I guess what facet of teamwork, I guess? Okay.
I think it'd be trust in teamwork. Like, you could have the greatest system in the world, but if you have guys that don't trust each other or don't trust the system or don't trust the coaches, then it's going to fail. And I think you always have to believe in your teammates. And like, I think that is, if you were to single it out, I think that would be my answer. I don't know about you, Alex.
Like, I definitely believe in that with the kind of how I mentioned the one extra pass idea is, right, you might have a good shot, but your teammate might have a better shot. So then by giving the ball up and trusting your teammate to make said shot,
right?
I do think trust is a big part of that. And it's the idea. It's just the biggest thing about teamwork is communicating. And for me, it's about positive criticism rather than negative criticism.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're able to establish a relationship with the people on your team where you're able to discuss the negative aspects that you need to work on in a positive manner, that's going to go a long way as well, because you're going to avoid a lot of arguing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Having that being able to have that communication, that conversation where you can constructively criticize someone and they don't take it the wrong way, I think is big. And that ties in that trust. It ties in the culture you guys have mentioned you guys are building, ties in kind of everything into that teamwork umbrella.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I'm definitely critical about the shots that I take more than anybody else could be. Like, there's a lot of shots that I pass up where I'll hear it from coaches that they want me to take it. I just think that, like, the only shots that I should be shooting are the shots that are like, we as a unit should be always finding the best shot, and it takes 5 guys to find it. And if I don't feel like I have the best shot that the 5 of us could get, I'm not going to take it. And it's been a bit of a journey coming down with the coach, because if coach wants me to shoot it, then I guess I just got to be more aggressive and find those out. But at the end of the day, I think that's what we all should be doing, is hunting down that best shot between the 5 of us, the 5 that are out on the court.
Big team basketball. You see a lot of individual play that probably shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And too many guys worried about their own stats or whatever it's going to be. And they kind of let that team aspect go, and you need to bring that back.
And I think that's a bit more of a American style of basketball.
100%.
It's very like ISO pick and roll style of offense.
Yep.
So we're going down to Montana this year to play a couple JUCO teams.
Okay.
And we already know that they're like individually going to be very like athletic freaks.
Right. Yeah.
So it's gonna be a very I think it's gonna be a massive like learning experience for us. So
It'll be a good challenge too.
exactly, yeah.
Last one before we wrap it up for you guys, let you guys go. What can people expect from the Lightning this year?
Championship. I'm not afraid to say it. We have the pieces. We have the culture. Everything's culminating for these what should have been this year, but might turn into these next 2 years with the whole eligibility scenario.
Right.
But yeah, it's all been leading to this in my eyes. We have a lot of seniors. We have veteran experience. We have talent. Like that's going to be our goal, and that's going to be what we're going to be grinding for every day for. We have our sights on it, and I think what you can expect is us doing everything in our power like it's our last season to achieve those goals, which it will be. And whether, like I said, whether that's the next season and like this one and the next one, who knows? Like, it is unprecedented, but that's going to be the goal, and I think that's what you can expect.
That's
agreed. The reason I kind of giggled there was Paul was one of our assistant coaches has kind of talked to us. He's like, don't say anything stupid. And so as soon as the question was phrased, I started thinking about like number of wins. And then I like laughed because I was like, I shouldn't say that because that's going to probably sound stupid. But our goal for like the entirety of our time with the program has been a championship. So that's what we're going to promise this year, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, like Jordan, you mentioned like a lot of seniors, a lot of veteran experience. The track record doesn't lie. Experience wins in college basketball, whether it's the States, Canada, whatever. Yeah, experience wins, and that's something you can't teach. Either you have it or you don't. And you guys, like you said, have it.
And it's a luxury that we can bask in now for the next however many games, because like I said, it should have been 21, but now we don't know exactly how long that's going to be. So we could have this nucleus together for 2 seasons, whether it's a kind of lockout shortened season and a full season or not. So we're going to have experience and then some, because now we're going to have more experience than any other ACAC team in history because of these times. So now we have to put it together. We have to work. We got to work hard more than anything. And once we do that, if we've done everything that we can do, then we can be satisfied. And then we can look back on a season that we're proud of.
I think that sums it up pretty well. I think that hits it on the head. And I don't think anything stupid was said, so the coaches can rest a little easier, I would say.
Just that one thing about Magic.
That's getting its own spotlight. That is going to be its own clip just for whoever wants to watch it and just watch it and relive it over and over again.
And I mean, something else that people might think is stupid is my second favorite player is Kyle Korver.
Okay.
You just wanted to throw that in there with no context.
No context. That's what I'm good at.
Hey, everybody has their favorites, and if Korver's yours, hey, do your thing. Okay, I'll follow that up then. Jordan, who's your second? Do you have a second?
Second favorite in the league right now.
Is it as outlandish as Korver?
No. The only guy I can think of is a former player, Pops Mensah-Bonsu. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He played for the Raptors. He was very, very average.
I think that tops Korver. I think that's a good way.
The only thing that he led the league in was syllables per letter in his name.
And on Pops, we'll end it with some Pops love. Gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for doing this. This was a ton of fun. And again, hopefully people check out what you guys got going on at Double Double. We'll have that down below. And anytime you guys want to jump back on, we'll make it happen for you.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this.